Entering at the cabin with Misha. In this series we'll be doing while we're on vacation, we're going to look back, sometimes very far back, at some very influential videos for this channel, others that were rather embarrassing, and maybe some that I'm even proud of to this day, even though they were recorded on an old potato. And to start with, the Polish Beryl, or the Archer. And so we're going to go back over a decade to our first video from the FB-Radom Archer 01. Alright, here we have a rifle that many have seen by now. It's been on the market. We just started the videos, no intros. The versions coming in now are a little different. Now many like 2013. Update it to try to meet customer demand. This is the Polish Radom Archer 01. With FB-Radom these days, but hey. Now this is the current version. Just came in September, and it has a few notable differences from the originals. Yeah, that's true. First off, it's now coming from the factory the old potato camera with this telescoping buttstock already installed. Actually, I would say the stock was installed M4 here, style, but this is a Polish stock. It is not the distributor at the stock. Before they didn't. There, third, fourth position. You have kind of long out in. Has a nice rubber butt plate with a kind of a big footprint. And there's a reinforcing plate inside the receiver to give it extra strength. And a little tab that goes around the pistol. Another change that is with this version, the no mic thing too, was an earlier one from this year, is the new style of barrel profile. This is an 18-inch barrel. I think I mentioned it, but the original V1 had a 16-inch barrel. With a 1 in 9 twist rate. Yes, I know. Places say 1 in 10. Back Guess then, what? That was a mistranslation from metric to English. It's a big argument deal. Because Archers and Beryls have always been had a misprint on their 1 in 9. It was part of the military requirement over there. This has a muzzle device. It's really a brake more than a flash hider. It is pressed and pinned on to the barrel. I think I mentioned it here, but it also can factory, these mount a 22mm NATO. I'm not sure how IO attaches them, but it's on there solid. Has a grenade ring. I added the ring itself, but the notch was already cut in it for launching. It doesn't have the internal threads though for the blank fire device. This rifle also came in with this Generation 4 scope mount rail, or POPC is the system as the Polish call it. It locks onto the gun in 3 locations. 2 mount up here. System that more than a few U.S. manufacturers have copied to some degree. Trunnion, or actually sight block. You can see the slot where that goes in, same on the other side. Back here there's a throw lever, somewhat similar to the original Soviet quick detach mount. You just flip it over and then pull your mount up and off. I do think that's a split system, I really do. To lock it on. This is the current rail. It is Picatinny compatible. 1913, Chris. It also has a trough inside here, so you can still see your iron sights under your optic. It is made of steel. Mounts on quite nicely. So these are now coming with these 3 things: the stock, the mount, and the correct profile with muzzle brake. A few minor mods I've made to this one. This is current military foregrip. I still have that forearm. Has bolt-on rail sections on each side and a grip down here. That 1 year ago on my own. These are really easy to take on and off because of the switch, just like on a Tanto. For those of you who have one, it's actually from more the WZ96B. Pull this keeper handguard retainer up, take it off, put on a different one if you want to. From the factory, these just come with the standard horizontal, which is a military part too, although it's mostly used in the 96A. I also have an EOTech 552 hollow sight back here, which is the current issue in the Polish military for this rifle. Probably the first sight I ever bought. I don't mind many sights. Purchased several thousand from America here a couple of years ago. Other features of this rifle: has an extended shelf here on the safety. Thing I still like. This one's still new, so it's stiff. But standard AK safety, you can flick it pretty easily. They have this bolt held open notch cut in. I'm not really crazy about it. Zastava also does them on their rifles, but
the difference with the Zastavas is the small notch that holds the bolt securely. The IO version
does a decent job. Hold it open, I guess. When you're ready to fire, just there you go. Tapco G2 trigger group, like most AKs.
For a while their G2s were everything.
This is a Polish-made Kalashnikov. It is not built from.
And that was unique for the damn time. It was the first
built from new parts,
really all-new Polish
FB-Radom.
import gun we ever got.
Receiver comes in as a single stack. It is
kind of funny today when you consider WBP,
Beryl was original
Pioneer,
Polish.
all that.
Serials match, same. You know, very similar process to the SGL-21s from Archer. Excuse me.
Hey, you know, I don't have scripts.
Takes standard Beryl magazines. This is the current generation of the green.
Those mags get a lot of
First
crap
ones were
for
black,
not
and
having
the second
steel
gens were
reinforcements,
clear.
but you know what? I
These are
still
what
have some of those
using.
original mags, and they're
30
fine.
round polymer mag, very similar to the one found
Now
in
the
the
clear
Lake
ones,
Tantal,
the smoke ones, those were a little dodgier.
This rifle is chambered for 556, like the military Beryl. And it's set up right now like a current generation WZ 2004 with this telescoping stock, this current generation
the
rail,
2004 was more of a
vertical
test
foregrip
model
forearm.
that FB-Radom showed. It's a WZ96C.
Some other features it has of note is also an enlarged
pancreas. What?
Paddle for the mag release, a little easier to hit.
I like that paddle too.
And it doesn't come with it, but for those of you who have Tantals, you might have a left side selector here.
I actually got that part from
Poland.
Poland.
Grab a
Never did end
Beryl
up installing it.
left side selector. A little different from a Tantal because it has two arms. I just need to get it in there. I need to drive out this roll pin, get it in, and then I can either link it to the safety and make a left side safety, or just leave it there for cosmetic
Honestly,
reasons.
going cosmetic
Doesn't
is
hurt
a better way to
anything.
go
Adds
with
to the
those.
look. I don't have to cut on the receiver.
When you link them,
the dust cover does have the raised portion here to work with that.
Yeah, that little bump is to keep it from over travel.
When these rifles came out, they were 1400.
Yeah, back then 1400 was considered
came with
crazy
a strange
for an AK.
muzzle device. It looked like something off a Tantal. They came with a fixed paddle buttstock.
Club butt, what have you, cheap, U.S. made stock.
And they did not come with the scope rail. Now though, they're down to about $12.50, $13.
Don't you wish they were still at that price today?
They've been coming with the buttstock and the correct profile barrel for a good number of months.
Honestly, very similar to the
And this
Beryl
most recent batch
ones we get
has the rail. So Radom, Royal Tiger, IO, however you want to talk about, has done a few steps to make it a little more marketable. I think they're getting closer.
Yeah, that's still there.
In the 1250, 13 range with the rail,
but not
and the stock.
as good as it could be.
You're getting close because these stocks are 100, 150. These rails are.
Wish they were still that again.
$100, $200 when you find them, especially new, not surplus.
To be fair, today Arms
so just
America
those components alone really kind of bring this back in line with some other rifles. And at that price, you're pretty much looking at something like a Colt LE 6940 with the rails.
6940s?
So they're priced about in the same range. It's a niche item. They do seem to shoot well,
niche today,
reliably.
5.56 AK.
They are Polish.
Pretty niche.
First one we've seen. I think it would be neat if they also did a mini Beryl pistol
wouldn't that be
with
neat?
the 9 1/4 inch barrel.
It'll only take a decade to happen.
Something that maybe they'll think about in the future if these sell well.
Or IO could just stop.
Just kind of wanted to share this. We're going to go out and do a little shooting video next with it and show you how it works. The 1-in-9 twist is supposed to stabilize both 55 grain and 62 grain M193.
Yeah, the reason Poland did that, they wanted to be able to share ammo with any native members, including
same as the Steyr AUG.
And yeah,
hog.
numbers are hard.
Steyr also uses a 1-in-9 twist rate in their rifles, so they can work with both most common types of 223 556 NATO. Again, not a 1 in 10 mistranslation all those months, years ago. Never was a 1 in 10, probably never will be. The only 223 rifle that comes to mind immediately that does have a 1 in 10 twist standard is the SIG 550 dash.
I got it.
What? 1?
And now for transition.
I'd say that's okay.
That day we were shooting a few of the guns, 556 guns.
Okay, just finished shooting the last 556 gun
I
of the day.
believe that was the first shooting day we had with the Archer.
The semi-auto Beryl. Of the ammo types we were shooting, Tula 55, Tula 62 grain.
There ended up being a recall on that Tula.
55. All fired fine. No cycling issues, no ejection issues, no igniting issues. So
which is totally a tribute to the gun, not that ammo.
Between the Tavor, the Steyr AUG, and this gun, this one is by far the most reliable out of the three. It's the cheapest out of the three. Of course, it is longer. Well, that's it for today on our shooting section.
And we just end it.
And here's the upcoming V3. We're going to look at a video from about a year after that first one, so over 9 years ago, talking about it. This was the last version imported by IO Inc. Royal Tiger.
Ah, the old house.
Okay, this is just an update video of the Polish Radom Archer.
Very informal. We
IO
did that
Inc.
very much at the start of the moment.
We did one here a year ago. Since then, that was a what I was called a version 2. I'm calling this one a version 3.
A version that IO made no announcement about.
You don't hear much about these, so I just wanted to make a little update.
In fact, they only did a
First
couple
of all,
hundred.
it has the actual 3-rivet rear trunnion, which people have been asking
and that's something, the 3-rivet we have today with the modern Beryl.
Next off, it has the fire mode safety
and
selector
the selector
switch.
is something
This is an original one.
We don't get with
style
the modern Beryl M1.
For an
I
Archer.
have a feeling
or Beryl,
those were kind of
has 3 positions.
A little bit. Again, it was completely fake.
It is cosmetic only, but it does have the markings for the fire modes too, which engraved in the receiver, which is nice.
And that's the reason I never ended up putting the other one in the V2.
It is cosmetic, it doesn't change anything.
The V3s came out.
This one has the standard muzzle brake. I put a grenade ring on it.
And I had to find one
These are
that was
hand
actually
guards,
put
and
on
you
the
saw
right side up.
same hand
I
guard
had a
with the pistol grip.
half the time of putting them on upside down.
Rail. I've got an EOTech 5.52.
Still have an EOTech on mine today.
Which is what the Polish military uses on some of theirs. And I've got a 3X
and I
magnification.
do not have the 3X mag on mine.
Samson flip.
Wait.
This came from, let's see what's
the gun was not light to begin with, and with all that on top, more than I knew.
Flip it aside there to get to that.
I didn't even
put it on. It's got a Polish 4-position buttstock.
Stock, yep.
Nice solid style. I'm not a fan of AR style stocks on.
And for a long time,
AKs,
everyone
but
thought
in this
the
instance,
real
it
side
actually fits
folder was
well.
only one,
Nice
which is correct
large
early,
rubber
but by the
plate.
WZ96C, that was loud. The 4-position
Nice triggers on
adjustable
these.
was correct.
I've sold several of these to the store, and to date, no customer has
That
complained.
is true. Everyone who got one
Very well
really
received,
did enjoy
very
it.
accurate. The only thing I can say bad about these is through the importer. IO has just not done their diligence in
IO shit
marketing
the
these.
bed.
Even as they integrated these changes, they went from the version 1 to the version 2 with their accurate to being an original Beryl muzzle brake. When they went from the version 2 to the version 3 with the 3 rivets.
You could tell that FB-Radom in Poland was
IO doesn't
really
advertise that. And just to be clear, these have 18-inch barrels with 1 in 9 twist rate, not 1 in 10.
And the reason I mentioned the Beryl link
tell
is,
that the folks
even at
over
this
the
point,
factory in Poland
IO was still saying it was a
are
16-inch
listening to
barrel.
what people in the U.S. want and are doing their absolute best to deliver, even if IO doesn't seem to really take
that's the
much
truth.
care. But I'm very impressed with this new version.
Yeah, so impressed. I still have it today.
I wish IO would quit cutting this damn notch.
Yeah, and the notch is easy to deal with.
No
I just
reason
put a
for
different
that.
safety on. It wasn't a serialized.
Leave it alone. If people want it, they could always add it themselves. But that's something that IO is hooked up with. It, you know, it seems like that's their brainchild, and they're in love with it. But other than that, it's a great gun.
At this point, we have had several rounds
version
through
that came
mine
out. This
and
one, they
Jay's.
started appearing in late spring of this year, and I've had really great luck selling them. Well, thanks for tuning in. Alright, well, what do you think of my kind of director's cut commentary? First attempt, I'm doing this all by myself, so sorry for things not syncing up, but it is fun to look back, because I thought it would be productive during this time, because we've done a lot of videos on guns that people don't even realize about. In fact, someone asking why we haven't covered the VZ58 really got me going, and I wanted to do the VZ58, but I want to get a little practice in first, so the Beryl seemed a good place to start. I'm also probably going to open this up to Patreons, asking them what old videos they'd like us to review, and might even ask J-Ro or Fox to do their Mystery Science Theater 3000 interpretation, and maybe even roasting. I'm definitely up for that. If you can't laugh at yourself, well, who can you laugh at? But yeah, let me know what you think of this kind of inaugural episode here. And again, I think I'll leave this open to Patreons to kind of vote on what comes next. I already do have some ideas though, and some fun guns that I no longer have, and some guns that I've retained over the years. As always, if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support us, check out our Patreons or our live streams. And we will be back soon after taking a little break over this winter and dealing with other projects. In the meanwhile, check out our back catalog. There's a few videos there you probably haven't seen.